All right, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to Fridays. It's Friday again. Hello, Denmark. Hello, Puerto Rico. Hello, Ghana. And Dave, yes, you did win the coveted I'm First award on the YouTube comments. And our one solo Twitcher, Gamborg, is holding it down over on Twitch. How's everybody doing out there? Y'all made it. Y'all made it to the end of the week, so that's a good thing. We got some strong numbers, over 100 people watching on Facebook already. That is impressive. That's a lot.
Yeah, that was quick too.
Yeah. See if we can't chase them all the way. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We will give everybody just another minute to get signed in here, and we will get rolling. Gamborg, not only were you the first on Twitch, you're still the only one on Twitch. I'm showing one person connected via Twitch. All right. Hello, Seraphim, Justin, Bruno, Mushrif. How are you guys all doing? All right. I have so many things to say, but I want to wait till we're officially started to start saying them. So there we go. Hello, Adrian. I could say hello again. That'll kill a little bit of time. All right. With that, we'll just get rolling. We won't milk that for anything else. Hello and welcome to your Friday afternoon live model with SketchUp. Thank you so much for joining. It's been 2 weeks. I took last week, well, I didn't take it off. I was actually working Friday and Saturday. I got to go to Workbench Con, which was a ton of fun. If you were a Workbench Con, make sure you chime in and let me know. And if we met, let me know. It was awesome. If you don't know, Workbench Con is a conference for woodworker and social media users, kind of where they combine. So it's a bunch of people with Instagram or YouTube channels where they do woodworking and making and creating. It's a lot of fun. It was really cool. It was great to meet some people I just followed online, got to hang out with them and talk to them. Really cool show. It was a lot of fun. It did take a bite out of my weekend. I think I got home around 1 a.m. Sunday morning, because the show was Friday, Saturday. I flew home afterwards, but it's good to be here with you guys on Friday with a full weekend ahead of me. This is a great spot to be. So let's talk about some things. Let's talk about what sort of things we're doing here. So the first thing, the main thing I want to do, of course, is talk about we're gonna actually model a Da Vinci thing, and I will geek out on Da Vinci as we go through this. He's one of my favorite people in history. I love Da Vinci. But I'm jumping in. I'm so excited. I'm so ahead. Casey, Casey's on the other side of the monitor. Thank you for helping out again.
Happy to be here.
Sorry, I'm pumped. I got 2 weeks of excitement all bottled up.
Don't worry about it. I'm excited to see you do this too.
Yeah, we have no idea how this is going to turn out. It's great. Okay. The other thing I wanted to call out, because this was super cool, JDC over on our forum took the burrow model that I created, and I made sure it was a solid when I posted it, and he took it and 3D printed the whole thing. Multiple parts. He actually did slice it up and then print it. That's awesome. So I don't know if you're on here or not. If you're here, awesome job. It's so cool. I was kind of thinking somebody might try it, but I'm like, nah, nobody's going to actually do that. But it happened, and it is a pretty cool looking 3D print. So
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Great job. You did awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. So love seeing that. That's pretty neat. All right, so we are going to dive in. We are going to spend a bunch of time on Da Vinci's air screw, but I wanted to do a super quick, well, not super quick, but a quick tribute. So I don't know if how many people saw this, but a guy named Jens Knudsen, or Knudsen, I don't know, some people pronounce the K, some don't, passed away this last week. And he was the guy who invented the minifig. So I felt like I had to do something. This was so a part of my childhood and actually adulthood is Legos. And some of my favorite things to play with were, you know, those little figures that came with Lego kits. And I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to do a super quick, kind of a speed model kind of thing, because what I actually found as part of the original article I saw this on, so we will get to the air screw, the helicopter, I promise, but I want to take just a few minutes right here to do a quick model of a minifig based on a file I found, which I thought was super cool. So I'm going to hop over here, I'm going to import, and I'm going to grab this image, which is the patent image for the original minifig, which I thought was super cool. So I figured it wouldn't take too long. I just want to make a quick model of this. It's not going to be, I'm not going to beat it to death. It's not going to spend a ton of time on it, but when you have a model like this, how can you not do that, right? I mean, seems like a requirement. I don't know. Yep, Bruno said Lego is universal. Absolutely. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna stop talking about not spending too much time on this and just do it. So, whoa, look at that. That image is perfectly straightly aligned. That was unexpected. Usually when you bring an image like this, it's slightly off, but this one's perfect. Minifigs are, of course, symmetrical, so I'm not going to model both sides of it. I'm just going to model one half, and we'll copy it over. Let's see. I was thinking about how much time I wanted to spend on this, and I don't want to spend a ton of time because I am excited about doing Da Vinci's model. So, whoops. I'm just going to kind of run through here quick and just build a monolithic model. I'll post it so you guys, anybody who wants to get in here and like get more detail than I put in here, it will be available for you to download and do whatever you want with it. So I'm going to start with the above views of the different pieces, and then I'm going to take them and rotate them to the other profile. Oop, one here across here. So this is that hip piece, make that into a group, and then looks like the leg kind of, I think that the minifigure, when I looked at this, I kind of got the feeling that maybe the minifigure has changed over the years, because there's some parts about this that didn't look the same as the minifigures I knew. And I think the leg is one of them, because I know this leg is straight. It doesn't have a notch like it shows right here, so I might be diverting from the image, but I'm going to do that real quick. All right, his head. How was everybody's week this week? Did anybody have anything exciting happen? Anything cool, anything fun? Was it just a boring week? That happens. I mean, not all weeks are awesome. All right. I'm going to make that a group. So the arms are a little bit different, so I'm not going to mess with those just yet, but I'm going to take these three pieces, I'm going to copy them over to the center line here, and then rotate them up like this, 90 degrees. All right, now I can come in here and there we go, that's half his body. This one will come out like something like that. And then this piece is actually round. So So it looks like this is the center of the circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a circle right here. Yep, that's about right. And then I think it goes straight up at the back. I think it looks something like that. Well, mine does. So we're back to that spot where I don't know how to do something or read a drawing right, so I make it up and call it my own. Yeah, we're there. Okay, the leg is going to come back like this to this point, and then the toe is going to come out to right there. And the front comes up like this, and the back is actually rounded over. So I'm going to draw another circle from the center. Hold on, I gotta get my x-ray going on. I don't know what I'm drawing anymore. Oh no, the front rounds over. Wait, whoop. I don't remember what a minifigure looks like anymore. I think they both round over. So this is actually this. Okay. Everybody relax. I got this. I'm just gonna take that up to there for right now. Oh yeah, I forgot about the taper. All right, yeah. Okie doke. Orient faces. The arm's gonna act, or the head's gonna be super simple. Whoops. I'm gonna copy it over here. Come in here. Get rid of these lines. Quick circle. I can select this, follow me there. And
That's
then
a good start. I'm
trying. I'm 10 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm challenging myself to go super fast, but I'm kind of challenging myself to go fast. I'm going to use some inferencing right here. This is actually two pieces, one here, one goes up to here-ish. So the minifig, I was actually brutally harassed. Oh, that's how the leg actually looks. I'm gonna have to bring that in and might have to fix that real quick. Okay, brutal's maybe a little bit of a strong word, but I was harassed by my family last night for saying the word minifig over and over again. Because they're like, can't you just say minifigure? And I'm like, I'm fairly certain that the actual term is minifig. And I did look it up, and that is the word. So there, my family, I love you, but I'm right. All right, so that is more what the end of that thing looks like. Put a line right here. Why is that not lining up? Oh, because it didn't go all the way down.
That's a weird noise. Do you hear that?
I hear that. That is the sound of our climate control system.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
Is the mic picking it up?
Hopefully you guys can't hear it too much.
Yeah, it's a sort of a clattering of metal coming from one of the vents in here.
Yeah, so I know I've mentioned this a little bit before, but we're moving in the not too distant future. Oh yeah, because this is at an angle, so pull that circle up. So it's kind of exciting. Looking forward to moving. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to the most is we'll have a new dedicated studio space, which will be kind of nice because I won't have to. First off, we have to book this room every time we want to do a live stream or recording, so that's fun. If any of you work in offices where you have to share conference rooms, you know what that's like. But then we can also maybe control some things like when the AC or heat turns on. Speaking of which, it's got to be what? It's like 75, 80 degrees in here already, and the heat just turned on. So that's fun too. Never let them see you sweat. That's what somebody said somewhere. All right, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of rambling as I'm drawing, but I'm pulling up that circle shape, and then you can see it's kind of crossing through itself. I have this part right here is actually not flat, the leg tapers. So I'm going to grab all that, intersect it with itself. That way I can actually come in here now. Oh, you know what, the other thing I'm going to have to do is I got to cut this cylinder too. So I'm going to put a rectangle down. I'm going to constrain it to this face right here. I'll hold down Shift and then just gotta zoom out a little bit. There we go. And then intersect again. All right, then I can grab this piece and delete it. Get rid of all these lines at the top. Cool. Uh-oh, I lost a face there. Sometimes I erase exuberantly and lose things that I don't intend to. All right, so this piece right here is going to go away. Was that the correct use of the word exuberant?
I think so.
Did I do that right?
It sounded right to me.
Something didn't quite close there. There we go. All right, I get rid of all this. I think I have a more or less proper minifig leg.
Certainly looks like it to me.
Looks good. I'm clean this up too. This is his hip. And actually, I got to do something here too because I got to carry that arc up because this actually rounds off so the leg fits in it. So one more edit here, but we're almost done. All right, I come in here, I'll grab this, pull that up to the top, and then I can get rid of that. All right. Oh, look at that, how it nests right in there. Perfect. Cool.
Perfectly done.
If you didn't know better, you'd think I knew what I was doing. I do know what I'm doing. I'm scrambling. That's my plan right now. All right, so down here, this actually, so what I want to do is I want to actually create a path that I can use a follow me on. So I'll have a circle here that will follow along a path. That path actually is going to turn this way and then turn this way and then go back in. So this line right here actually needs to be parallel to that line. So at the joint, something more like that. So, So that is the path. Oh, I must have grouped this at some point. Oops. Cut that. Come out here. Paste in place to put it back. All right, there we go. Context, context, context. All right, but before I do that, so I'll put some arcs in here. This line will actually, I don't need this anymore. This will actually carry in like that. So I do need to tip this up, but I think before I tip this up, I'm going to want to build this hand while it's on the flat, because that'll just come along. It'll be easier to use my inferencing now rather than once that's tipped. So I need to draw a circle on that surface. So I've done a couple of videos on this. How do you go about creating stuff that's off axes? This is where you can either realign the axes to this off axes line, or I like to just draw a surface real quick, because then I can just hold shift to align to that surface and bring this out. So either way works though. That is going to get pulled down here. Well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to go trace this hand. Come on, arc. I'm going to go straight across, make this. Oh, I deleted my line, so I don't have a straight across right now. All right, so I can use this point as inferencing, because I can say here, there we go. Go onto this line, and inference straight against it, or I can inference to 90 degrees, and then I can put another arc from there to there. All right, cool. Now I can take that piece, and I'm just going to I'm going to pull it up to the top of this wrist piece, and then pull the bottom down to the bottom of that wrist piece, and then pull the wrist piece into the hand. There we go.
Beautiful.
And then I'm going to offset this circle out to become my arm. All right, so now what I have to do is I was thinking about this. I did look at this because I wanted this to go fairly quick. So I was kind of looking, I peeked ahead on this a little bit, because I was trying to figure out how I was going to get this arc, because it turns two different ways. So I came up with something that I don't know if it's going to work. But when has that ever stopped me from doing something, right? So I'm going to make that into a group temporarily. And I'm going to grab those lines, bring them over here. I'm going to line it at the elbow point. All right, so then I will rotate it so this is on line. Now what I have to do is take that and rotate it up so it's straight above this line. So I'll put a blue line there for reference. And now I should be able to use my rotate tool. I want to rotate along this line, so I'm going to click on the line and drag along it. That's going to align my compass perpendicular to that line, and then I should be able to take this line and spin it up to there. Looks like it might have worked. Now I can get rid of these pieces because I don't need them. I can grab all of this and this line, and then oh, it's still a group. So I explode that. If I draw a line straight, oh, it didn't quite. Just slightly off axes. Okay. So I take that, and then there we go. And now I should be able to, there we go. So now I can grab all of this and these lines and rotate them on this face, which is out of axes, off axes also, from here up to there. I think it worked. All right, while I'm here, I'm just going to say Intersect Face with selection. That's going to give me a line right here, and I can get rid of like that and that. And one last arc right here. All right, I'm not sure how this is going to work. This next piece I might have to do and then redo, but I think, do I have two lines here? All right, I'm going to grab these sections right here. I'm going to say, follow me and grab this outer ring. Hey, that looks like it worked. Well, close. It's a little, I'm going to have to grab this, and then all right. Awesome. And then I'll take that, follow me, grab that outer ring. All right.
Looks good.
All right, and I can delete this. I can delete this. All right, there's more clamp to do, but that gets me the arm. So if I was to take this, rotate it all back to flat, grab it by that middle point, stick that middle point right back where it goes. Make that into a group. Make that into a group. Come put this guy right here. Oh, do I have a center point? I don't have a center point. Move that from. Woo! Sorry about that. A little awesome.
Hey, do you hear that?
The not hot air blowing on me?
Yes.
I do hear that.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's wonderful. So I have switched to SketchUp 2020. Some of you guys may have caught that. But what I have not yet done, I'm in the process of figuring out which extensions I want to bring back over and which ones I can live without. But one of the ones I have not brought I didn't get is Keurig Mirror, and I'm just now realizing it. So I had to do all that.
Reversed face on the back there.
Yeah. Huh, wonder where that was. Oh.
There it is.
All right, so there we go. There is our tribute to the minifig and the recently passed away inventor. Oh, I didn't make these components. I just made them groups. That's why I'm having to do this twice. But yeah, there we go. So quick model. I just wanted to pay my respects, and that's the way I decided to do that. Plus, it is a cool model, and honestly, when you get a drawing like this in your SketchUp user, how can you not, right? I mean, it's like just impulse. So like I said, I did not go into all the detail. I did not go in and put the inside pieces. I didn't put the nesting or the studs in the inside or anything like that, or the holes in the back of the leg. I just wanted to kind of do this part. So I know Dave Richards is already shaking his head at my lack of componenting. I'm sorry, Dave. Also, I didn't trim the arms, but like I said, that gives you guys something to do when I put this up on Warehouse. So there we go. There's the minifig. Thank you, Lego, for that piece of my life. I appreciate it.
Agreed. It was a good time to play with Legos as a kid.
Always, yeah.
It still is, in fact.
You know, I think I mean, this is a theory. There's no science backing this up. But I think there's a correlation between people who use SketchUp for fun just to create things and probably toys like Lego. Lego, you know, it's these pieces, it's components, if you will.
It's a system.
It is, and they all work together. It's kind of the same kind of stuff you can do with SketchUp. So I think I don't think I'm too far off base there. All right, so I'm just going to save that for later. Okay, with that, we're going to start a new one. And this is going to be interesting. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Da Vinci's notebooks. So Leonardo da Vinci, the Renaissance man, and like I said, I could geek out on him all day. I've got like 5 or 6 books at home about Leonardo da Vinci. He was awesome. I mean, he was like the original maker. He wasn't just a painter and a sculptor, but he was an inventor. He was interested in things like how birds' wings work, so he would dissect stuff and document it. And the guy he was on so many different levels. He was so cool, did so much different stuff, and he has these notebooks that were all of his ideas basically kind of just put down. A lot of the stuff he wrote about he didn't actually do, but he had theories about things. And in his notebooks he had things like snow skis, helicopter, a tank, airplanes. Like, I mean, his brain was just functioning so far ahead. It was really, they had a piece on his notebooks in Denver a few years ago, and I took my son to it. And it was amazing the number of things that he just kind of doodled that ended up actually becoming real things like hundreds of years later. So he was pretty cool. And this was one of them, of course. His design didn't work out so well, but the concept is what led to what we call the helicopter. So I'm going to import, I think I got 2 images here. And these images will straight up be reference only. There's no dimensions to pull off of this. This is an ink and paper drawing from the Renaissance. So yeah, so we have some detective work and breakdown to happen here. But I wanted to kind of put this together like I would like a woodworking or fabrication project. So I want to actually try to identify components and pieces and make them interact. The whole idea of this thing is that it would have been built out of things like canvas and wood. So we're going to kind of move along with that in that idea. So I don't have there's no dimensions, like I said, no sizes. This was interesting. So Da Vinci, for unknown reason, they think that this was maybe because of he was afraid of people copying his work or stealing from him, but he would write things like, he would write backwards in his notebooks or upside down or in secret code. So this, I mean, obviously it's not English to begin with, but yeah, his stuff was not easy to read, so kind of cool. Just a commentary, because there's words here. All right, so as we look at this, I feel like there's a couple main parts. So at the bottom we have kind of a round, looks like a ring of what would probably be wood. Up the middle we have the shaft, that the air screw, and that's the term. I know, Dave. Oh, Dave, I knew. I planned ahead for Dave's comment. Dave on YouTube is asking about large image splitter. I downloaded and installed large image splitter. I did it. I finally, after what you've been harassing, how long have I been doing this live stream? For over a year, you've been harassing me, and I did it. And you know what? What I did on this image, it cuts like right here. So this is not a very high quality image, but yeah, it's funny because I was like, oh, I really need to do that. I need to get that in here. So unfortunately, the image I downloaded, this was one of the higher quality images I could find. This was still only about 1,000 pixels. So yes, I did get the large image splitter, but it didn't do much for me on this particular file. So maybe next time. I don't know what we're modeling next, but maybe I'll find a high-res image that I have to use it on. So thank you for the input, though. Thank you for thanks for reminding me. So it looks like, and again, I want your guys' input. I did create, of course, I made a, nuts. Did I close it? Yeah. So I did make a spot in the forum. I made a topic, modeling Da Vinci's air screw live in SketchUp. So if you guys have images or pictures. I do kind of want to try to just work off of the master's original image. I know this has been designed and this has been built. People have actually built this thing. So I don't want to copy, I want to try to work as much as possible off of what's here. So I don't know if I want too much other input. I would like to, let's just figure out together how this all works. I think, and I want, like I said, you guys tell me what I think. I think what we have is like this round platform right here. It looks like we have these braces coming up. And then I think what happens is this axle right here kind of rides in some sort of a bearing right here. It spins around on that. Then it drops down and it looks like there's handles here. I think the idea is you would grab onto one of these handles and you would run around this circle real quick, super fast, which would spin this shaft, which would spin this spiraling piece of canvas. So this canvas obviously is held on by ribs that would go back into the shaft, but I think that's how it works. The only piece that I get confused about when I look at this is these lines right here. This is where I need everybody's brain power to help me work on this. So we don't have to figure it out right now, we can work our way into it, but my thought would be to start by designing the platform. So I said it's a ring, it looks like a ring, and then it's kind of got these angled pieces that come up to this smaller platform up top, which I'm assuming is another ring that this shaft drops down inside of. I'm going to start with that. That's where I'm going to begin. And then we'll build the shaft as a separate piece and then work our way down with the actual air screw itself. So if you guys can, as you're looking at this, if you can think of what this might, because what it might be is these cables might come back down to another piece that would also spin. I don't know. Yeah, I think it looks, yeah, see, it looks like these come down and go to another piece. Maybe this piece, this flat piece, these angled pieces, and this piece are one piece, and then this shaft drops down to maybe another disc underneath that these wires tie to. So that whole piece would spin independently of the platform. All right, we'll have to process that. I'm going to use, yeah, Charles, Dave are saying that that's kind of how it looks like. We might have two pieces there. It's, well, like I said, this is an ink pen on a piece of old parchment, so we're not looking at a whole lot of detail. Yeah, MJ is saying that she thought this was a spring. I guess that's possible that this was like wound up and then released to do that. That could be also. And then so another thing, this could just be lines showing maybe this was a note for him as to the ratio of the sides or something like that. I don't know. We're to make it up. We're just gonna go for it. We're gonna assume the master was onto something and we'll do something. All right, I'm gonna use Laura as kind of a reference. So come here, Laura. If you haven't met, this is Laura. She's our scale figure for 2020. So I'm going to start with a circle. Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about specific size. I was thinking, do I want to be concerned with the number of sides I have or anything like that? But I can't really see a reason to do that. All right, so if I did something like that, obviously there's not a person on here, but I'm going to say that's what I want to do. I'm going to offset that in something like this, and then I will pull this to some depth. If that's not arbitrary design, I don't know what is. All right, so I'm going to call this the bottom ring. All right, we may have to diverge fairly quickly from, Here, rather than doing that, I'm just going to take this. Actually, I'm going to load this as a watermark, so I don't have to worry about zooming or anything like that. Just going to go to my styles, edit, click on the watermark button and load that in. I'm actually going to load in the other one. The other image I have is just a black and white picture of just that image. So I'm going to put this in the background. I'm going to put it up above my head, make it small enough so, all right, there we go. It's like I'm thinking, all right, that'll work. All right, cool. All right, so this already seems like this is too small. So I'm going to grab it, I'm going to scale about the middle, and I'm going to hold down Shift so it scales uniformly. All right, so we might have to change the size of that inner ring, but that's going to work for right this second. A hi, TLK. Is that what you need? Do you need a hi? How you doing? All right, so I'm going to just put a line up. And then I'm going to throw a circle right here. And I'm just making it just a circle. I'm just trying to throw in some geometry just to see how this all works. So I'm going to make that a component. I'm going to call that I'm going to call it the bearing. And then, all right, so if that lines up, so this, all right, I gotta get back near the axes. I'm having a hard time telling where anything is. I grab this point and throw that right there. Okay, there we go. Now I know what's up, down, left, and right. Okay, so that is how that would all look. And I'm assuming, it's hard to tell, but I'm assuming we got something like 4 pieces framing down to hold up that top circle. So something like that. So how does that line up with, not too far off. That's cool. Yeah, I feel okay about that. Okay is all I can hope for right now. Okay. So let's so Yannick's saying it's part of a bigger machine. Do you have a picture of that bigger machine? Because every picture I've ever seen and the models I've actually seen of this only include this. So which, not to say anything, I mean, like I said, we're working off of an ink drawing. Is the bigger platform down below? If you have something like that, Yannick, please share it, and we'll take a look at that. Oh, I love it. MJ and Dave Richards are going to get together and watch live modeling together. That's cool. Did I get this off axis somehow? Oh man, who's paying attention to me? All right. There we go.
There we go.
Man, that's terrible.
You're doing fine.
Ugh, I appreciate it.
Is the top one on axes?
I don't know what I did. All right, so let's see. Yeah, looks like the top one's good.
Okay, cool.
Again, I'm gonna blame excitement. I get to do this today. All right, so I got to come up with a physical piece of material to come in here and frame in. It looks like, again, maybe I was, okay, I was scaling it too large. It could be. I was trying to give Laura, my thought, here's my thought, you guys, was I guess this inner ring could be smaller, because as we have these supports, somehow you got to go underneath this, but I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know, just yell louder if I'm doing something wrong. All right, I'm gonna try to do like a square piece of material going up into here. I think what this will actually end up being is something like this. I don't know why I'm feeling this. Just looking at this drawing right here, I feel like there's a reason for it. And I'll take that. So something like that, where these pieces will actually frame into this. So maybe what we'll do, maybe I'll do this. I'll scale this down also. No, actually what I'll do first, offset this like this, and then I can take this and just, whoops, move it vertically. And then I can kind of frame right into the side of that from down here. So maybe I'll come over, I know I'm saying maybe a lot, I know. Look at my hidden geometry. There we go. So I think that is where my brace will actually reside. So it's going material into material, not line to line like I had it before. And now what I will do is I will make, just like I was saying before, I need a shape to use as a plane, and I'm just going to put a rectangle right here. Oops. We'll say, oh, that size? Something like that. Okay. I'll use this. Follow me along that. So for right now, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save this as a component, and then that means I can come in and change it later. So if we decide we want to put a round piece there rather than a square piece, or a rectangle to make it wider, something like that, then we can do that. I'm going to grab all of that, reverse the faces, make it a component. I'm going to call this my brace piece. And then I will take that and I will rotate it 90 degrees, 3x, and then we have our 3 support pieces. All right, so that, put this back here again. Okay, Colin's saying 3 legs looks more like what he was thinking. Yeah, I think Colin posted a picture over on the forum, and I agree. I think that whole piece at the bottom is just to make it spin. But yeah. All right, so this is one piece so far. So this is just, all of these pieces are going to be just that one chunk. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a little bit of, let's see, how do I want to do this? All right, so I'm gonna go on this one. I'm gonna cut this one off flat like this. I'll take this piece off right here at the bottom. I can get rid of this line in the middle, poke my head in there. Oh, it's not in that. It's outside the model. There we go. Okay, and then up here, I'm gonna take this and just extend this a little bit longer, like that. And then I can I'll use solid tools. And I will say subtract that from, oh, this isn't solid right now. Oops, there we go. All right, so we'll take this, subtract it from this, did that wrong. This, did that wrong. What? Just did it wrong. And then, oh, you're killing me. Okay, I'm hitting the wrong button. Okay, try that again. Stop, reset. I'm gonna take this one and I'm going to trim it from this piece. There we go. Same thing here. Trim this piece here, trim. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. So now all those pieces stick inside of this. There we go. So that's what we're looking at right there. Yeah, one of those days. One of those days. All right, so now this shaft, or I should, hey, hold on, let me scroll through all of these. All right, I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna be the first one to tell me to save.
Well
save. All right, and I'm gonna call it the air screw because I think that was the term that he used in his notebooks. Cool, so that's a start, that's something. This shaft in the middle looks like it is pretty much a tree trunk. I'm going to start with a circle that size-ish, and I'm going to have that raise up. Looks like it's about twice as tall as this. It looks like it, talking about how it probably goes down lower than that, but we'll see what happens. I know Dave is calling out the fact that I still don't use Enerot solid tools. I know it's also on my list. I guess that's just one of those, I don't know, oldness things. I'm just not, I don't know. All right, so here's a question. Being as this would have been drawn up and designed before you could go get a set of metal bearings to make something spin, we got to think about how this is going to be supported and spin on top of this circle. So I have seen Da Vinci's drawings for the idea of bearings where I've saw something. I don't know if this was something somebody designed this as Da Vinci would have, or if this was actually part of his notebooks where he did use wooden balls to make things spin. But I was kind of thinking of a different way to do this would actually be with wheels. So hear me out. This might be stupid, but here was what I was thinking when I was trying to, basically as I was designing that last part, I was thinking about what the next part's gonna be. So what I was kind of thinking of doing is having, and that's Dave saying, well, just put two pieces of wood together and put some lubrication between them. He's recommending beef tallow to be time appropriate. Yes, that could work, but here's my other option. So I was thinking of wheels. So if you had a rut here, right? So say I was to come in here. I'm not gonna explain something where I could just actually show you guys what I'm thinking. Like a sucker, I know what I'm doing. All right. So if I was to do something like this, right? And then I'll take this and I will move it vertically. So say I had something like that. And then coming off of this, tying directly into that, I had maybe 4 axles. And then on each axle would be a wheel. Oh, it would be upside down though, wouldn't it? Because this is pulling upwards. Okay. Which would actually, okay, that could still work. I would have to figure out how to get the wheels underneath, but it would still work if this piece was connected to another ring down below, because that would still be on the bottom, and as that lifted up, it would pick up this piece, which would then spin independently from the shaft. All right, so I just blurted out a bunch of thoughts. What do you guys think? All right, so I'm gonna undo what I did here. This whole piece is kind of irrelevant now. This doesn't actually do anything. So I'm just gonna, and then I can take this ring and I can make this, got an X right here. Make that ring smaller. That was too small. That might be a little tight. All right, little, just a skosh bigger than that. Skosh is a technical term. Let me just go to that. All right.
That looks good.
So, okay, harebrained idea number 1, or take 1. All right, so I'm gonna offset. I'm gonna do the same thing I did where I'm gonna get kind of a, whoa, what's going on there? Oh, did I did. I was not careful about my scaling and I create some cool concave shapes. There we go. All right, now I'll take this. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm gonna take that piece right there. I put these extra 2 in here so I could get a little bit of that. Something like that. Okay, so if that was my disc right there, then I'm gonna say on this, which I need to make that into a component. Shaft. Now, okay. I need some work planes here. So extend this through here on the red axes, like that. If I was to say, put a circle right here. Oh. So, all right, this is just a quick mock-up so I can see if the geometry is going to work, because the wheel, because I have a wheel that has width to fit inside that arc. I want to see if that's going to actually work. Rise that up. So that's why I know the axle and that will have to be separate pieces. Ooh, look at that. And that's why you should always design your medieval flying devices in SketchUp.
Very true.
So wow, that was a total shot in the dark, but that geometry works. So that wheel actually contacts and fits inside that groove all the way around. So I'm getting, hey Ratha, how's it going? Very good evening. Sorry, how's everybody doing? I got distracted, I got excited, so I drifted away for a second there, but I'm back. Charles saying, I think there needs to be a plate on the bottom that the shaft rests on that's below lower ring. Yes, absolutely. So this will have to come down and tie to another piece that's under here. And that actually that could probably run on wheels too, because that'll have to, ooh, this model just got more complex and more fun. This is gonna be something. All right, I'm gonna come back to here. I'm gonna, okay, actually this I can just get rid of. No, I will unget rid of that. I will grab these two pieces. I want to make a wheel with a hole in it. Intersect face with selection. That'll get me just my hole in my wheel like that. So now if I grab this, 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 and this, and make a component, I'm going to call this my upper wheel. And then I can take this piece, extend it through okay, so now I got to figure out how does this thing actually spin? I mean, or do we just assume that that's just move on, which is always an option. Ooh, look at that alignment right through that piece. That's pretty cool. So obviously, the issue here that I'm seeing is I could run this axle all the way through, put a wheel on the other side, and then just those two, that would be pretty easy to make spin. If I try to do 4, then my 2 axles are going to be running through each other, right? So that's mean, but I could do a bigger wheel. Okay. just got excited. Hold up. All right, so I'm going to bring this back a little bit so it's going to overlap. So I'm going to call this upper axle. Whoops. Oh, I got that hole. Got the line from the middle. Whoops. All right. So now I'm going to take these 2 pieces, put those in a group together, and then I'll take that spin around to the other side.
I think it's sticking out a little bit on the other side. Is that intentional?
Oh yeah, I wanted the 2 to overlap because what I'll do now is I'll actually come in here, get rid of one of them.
Ah, I see what you're doing now.
I will come to this one and I will make it longer. There we go, something like that. Okay, so that could work, right? Hey, I'll tell you what, Amori, when I'm done, I'll post it and you can 3D print it. I prefer that.
Yeah, if we do want it to fly, though, we'd need to find a motor to put on it after we print it.
Or maybe we could train some mice to run in a circle with something attached to their back. All right, so obviously, like I was saying, the thing that I can't run, so I can't take this whole thing. Hold up, let me do this. Let me explode that, and now take all 3 pieces, make that into another group. So if I was to take that, and I was to option rotate it 90 degrees, So right now, these two axles run through each other. That's going to be an issue, right? Because it's not going to be able to spin. So that means either the axles are going to go in part way and then stop, which means as soon as you put load on them, they're going to kind of go like that and put pressure, or no, they'll go like that, and put pressure into the sides, the holes in the shaft. That's not going to work. But if I was to take one of these and move it, I don't know if I can do this or not. I don't know if it's going to work. If I was to make it, take it vertically like that, make this wheel unique. Shrink that down till it hits like that. Oops, I didn't make it unique enough. What did I do? I did something wrong. That's a group. Why is that a group?
That's a good question.
That's a group. That's a component. That's a component. That's a group. Weird. Okay. All right, so we'll start by doing this. Delete that. Sometimes my brain gets going and forgets to ask permission before it tells my body to do things. I think that was one of those times. All right, so I'm going to take that one, two. All right, so now we should have just 4 groups. Nope, 4 components. Yes, okay. So I'm going to come into this one. I'm going to grab these 2, make them unique. If you have 2 components selected at the same time and hit Make Unique, it makes both of them a new copy, but linked together. So these 2 are the same component now. So if I go into this one, grab all of it, I'm going to scale about the middle. I'm going to scale it till it just hits the edge there, and then I'm going to give it some width again. There we go. So now, in theory, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, that's why we watch this. It's fun.
Oh, good. Yeah, so LTEL baby is saying if wheels are not the same size, they'll rotate at different speeds. But will it matter? Because if all these are doing is spinning and transferring, it doesn't matter if this goes faster than this wheel, right? As long as they're going the same speed around the track. Meh? I don't know. I literally have no idea. What do you guys think? What does everybody think of this design? How much you buy this? Dang it.
You might be right. I'm not sure. I'd have to run some tests.
Time to fire up MS Physics? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I gave you a multiple choice question. You can't say you are right. I'm right. That'll work? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna assume that's gonna work, because I don't have any other choice really. I'm gonna do some more trimming. I'm gonna go turn on my solid tools again. Oops. It's telling me this isn't solid. Okay. So there we go. That should, in theory, work. That should, if I was to grab this piece by the top like that, I should be able to take that ring and spin it. Granted, it's not very stable right now because it's only connected, it's just hanging on there. That's one of the other pieces. Now we got to come in and somehow make a way for another track to run underneath it, but we'll get there too. Actually, we'll get there right now because why not, right? I'm going to grab this ring, copy it, and then come out of top context and edit, paste in place. I'm going to drop that down a little ways. I'm going to offset, and I'm going to use this ring up here. Oop, I didn't have it. Offset, and I'm going to use this top ring as referent. No, not offset. Push, pull. There we go. I got two rings that are the same size. Pull that down to the bottom. And now, in theory, we could just make this one big plate. I could actually take this and close it up completely like that, and that would serve as a connection. I could do that. But under the guise of being concerned about weight or something like that, I'm going to say I want to make like spokes coming back in here because I think that'll be cool. I like this. The 1500s engineering in a nutshell. You make something and pray to God it works well. Hey, that works for me. That's because they didn't have MS Physics or SketchUp back then, right? All right, so I'm going to come in here. I really just think this is going to look cool. That's why main reason I'm doing it. Oops. They make this a component. Oops. All right, now I can paste that circle back in place. I'm going to take this and I'm going to run it in here. There's probably some science behind how far I should run that inside there, but I'm going to run it that far. All right, and then I'll take that. I'm going to call it a lower spoke. And then I'm going to take that and use that. I don't know why I keep closing my solid tools. I should just leave that open and just like stick it over here or something. I'm going to cut that out of there and out of there. Beauty. That looks like it's going to work. Cool. So I'll take that, and I'm going to rotate it. See how much I want to. It's going to go this many times. 11x. I think that looks cooler than the other thing. Than just a big flat piece, right?
It does look nice.
So now I have trim those real quick. I had an interesting thing happen this last week that I wanted to throw out here for Sketchup'errs across the world. So I had somebody watch the last couple live streams I did that were about organic modeling. And the question they threw out was, is this the right software to be used to be doing this?
That's a good question.
It is a good question. We've touched on this briefly in the past, but I figured this actually, because it came up, seems to merit a little bit of a discussion. So my contention was, well, the right software for the job is the one that you have available to you. If there's other software out there that does it, but you don't have that software, it doesn't really matter that if a different software has more ideal tools for it. If you don't have it, you can't use it.
Fair enough.
The retort was, yes, but there are other software packages that are specifically designed for these other workflows. So wouldn't it make more sense to do those workflows in that software? Also a fair thought, right? So what I eventually came back to was basically, personally, and I've talked about this before, I'm a big fan of taking a tool and kind of pushing it to its limits. How far can you go with what you already have? I think that there's this mindset in a lot of spots in our society where you need a different tool or a better tool or, frankly, a newer tool or more expensive tool to do the work you're doing. So there's a very, and this is probably because I just got back from Workbench Con. You know, you can always go buy a newer saw, a better saw, that kind of thing, but the saw you have might just work. You know, hand tools versus power tools. There was actually people talking specifically about always using hand tools instead of power tools. Well, and Sebastian said, just show them Yoda and the questions answered. That was one of the videos that this person posted the question on. Is this the way, you know, should you actually be doing this with this software? So it was interesting. So anyhow, I had a question that I had started thinking before I finished that response, but so I don't really know what the perfect answer is for that. My thought again is like, well, if you have something and you can make it work, then do that. Obviously, there's an argument there where you're using something not the right way, then maybe it's more time consuming than if you use a different tool, but those are kind of all theoretical and what you're willing to do, how much you're willing to think or work outside the box, that kind of thing. But yeah, it was we went back and forth with a couple comments, and the end, one of the things he said was, well, yeah, somebody can go draw a picture, a beautiful picture, or spend a bunch of time drawing a picture on an Etch-a-Sketch, but it's not really made for fine art. And I came back and said, yeah, but if you've ever watched those videos where somebody drew the Mona Lisa on an Etch-a-Sketch, it's pretty awesome. So I don't know that we both agreed to respect each other's ideas or thoughts on it, and kind of moved on. But it was an interesting thing to think about, is what tool you're using and why. But yeah, and Sebastian's pointing out, it really depends why you're doing it. So if I was trying to make a 3D model that was going to end up being used in a 3D render in a movie, I probably wouldn't use the Yoda that I made in Sub D. To see how far I could push Sub D and what kind of model I could make, it worked pretty good for that, I thought. But yeah, it's really all comes down to your own personal workflow, what you're doing, and that sort of thing. So somebody asked, should this disk actually be above? And if you remember, so the force here is going to be going upwards. This shaft will be pulling up in the machine, which means if this was above it, it really wouldn't help anything, right? Because it would just be sitting above. So by doing it this way, this piece still sits on top, and this here, I need to do some grouping real quick. If I make all that a group, so if I was to take that right now and spin it, it should spin, yeah.
Looking good.
So I still need something potentially, I guess, I mean, this theoretically, if these pieces hold it, all the weight's on these 4 little wheels, I shouldn't really need anything between these two. But it would be possible to go in here, put some grooves in, and put balls or something all the way around that would roll. That would be kind of.
Wouldn't we be getting into bearing territory at that point, though?
We are, but we're rewriting history right now. I mean, look at our design spec. we can break whatever rules we want.
Fair enough.
All right, so I think this piece right here is a thing of some importance, but I don't know, I can't for the life of me figure out what that is. So I'm going to come in here right now. I'm going to grab 4 of these. I'm going to copy them up vertically to right about waist high on Laura. And then once again, I will take actually I'd take these now, make them unique, because I gotta come into one of these and shorten them up so they would actually fit inside of our braces. So I'm definitely noticing an issue here. If this platform is where you, wind a spring or run around in circles to stay in the air, it would actually have to be all the way or come much farther in, because you got this narrow little space to kind of go sideways like this and run in a circle or whatever. So
well, that does sound a little difficult.
Well, we can blame some of that on the time period, but yeah, it seems like there's a design we could still make work there. We'll see. Okay. So that, I said that'll take that and just okay, so far so good. That seems to work. I don't know. I don't know how to measure success with this. I mean, at the end, if it kind of spins, I guess we win. But I don't know. I really don't know. I just don't know. Okay, so next piece. This is the important piece, right? This is the actual air screw. So it looks like it's about 1.5 revolutions. So it starts down on this side, it comes around 1 and maybe that's 2. Maybe it goes around 2 full times. And so what we have is evenly spaced ribs that stick out and support this canvas. And the side, it changes too. It's smaller up here, and then it gets wider and wider as it goes out towards the bottom. So thus the screw idea is that it's going to scoop air, and as it spins, it's just going to keep picking up air and then create lift. That's the idea. So what we got to do is we got to figure out how to put ribs on here, have them go around twice, and evenly space out to create that shape. So I'm going to start with line segments. I'm going to go from the middle point here. I'm just going to take a line segment out. And this is just, again, Frederick's asking if you could make an animation of this being screwed. That would actually be fairly simple for someone who knows Animator or MS Physics, something like that. Yes, it would actually not be too difficult to do. Unfortunately, I don't really know either of those very well, but one could, which is a different answer from I could. All right, I'm going to take this line.
Just thinking about that last question about animation, you could do kind of a crude animation using dynamic components if you're working with the Pro version.
That's true. You could click on it and have it animate 360 degrees of rotation. That would be possible. All right, so the first thing I did is I put a line on there and I put a dozen ribs. And that seems to be pretty good. I mean, this has to be fairly strong, right? Okay, I'm gonna say that's gonna work. That's gonna be what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna move these now, but they're all connected at the end, so I'm just gonna come in here, draw a quick circle, so I can get rid of the ends, like that. And now each of these lines is a separate piece. And I guess actually I shouldn't even be using lines anymore. I should actually be using geometry. So I'll come in here. I'll put a I don't know how big one of these ribs has to be, but I'm going to do that big. And I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to make it, shoot. So I generally want to make it a component, but as this has to get bigger and bigger as it goes around, this is actually, each one will be a different length. So I'm going to make this, look away, Dave Richards. I'm going to make this a group.
Oh no.
I know. Such a disappointment. Grab that option. I'm going to copy 11x. What did I do wrong? I did something wrong. All right. Copy. Oops, I hit command instead of option, I think. No. Maybe I should save. You
That's
guys
a
haven't
good
told me to
idea.
save in a long time. I'm really
I
starting to
told
feel
you
like
to save once today. I've
like-
been watching.
like nobody cares.
It's weird.
All right, not really sure what happened there. Okay, I could change the container size, but I was actually thinking about using this to print or build this actual thing. So I was actually thinking it would be nice to get those lengths. Speaking of Dave Richards, I mean, he probably doesn't want me to say this, but I just had to throw this out because I've never had anybody do this before, but I posted something on social media on my own personal account of something I was building, and I made a joke about how I only had like 6 clamps. I was clamping something down, and I'm not like, I'm not a woodworker. I'm a hobbyist maker, whatever. I'm not, so I don't have like, you go on Instagram, whatever, you see guys that are clamping things down, they got like 47 clamps. Some of their clamps are 6.5 feet long, and I don't have that. I have like 6 spring clamps. That's everything I got. So I made a joke about it. And Mr. Dave Richards, who I will from here on refer to as the nicest guy in the world, actually went on Amazon and bought me 4 new clamps and sent them to me. So
Aww.
I had to say thanks, Dave. That was pretty sweet. That was really cool. I told him I owe him a beer at base camp. So if you guys see Dave and you're looking to reward somebody for just being a nice guy, he's the guy to give a high five to. All right. So I'm going to take all of this except for one, and I'm going to shift it down vertically. I'm trying to figure out how. I have no idea. This is where I'm totally guessing. Let's try 12 inches. And this comes down this way, so I'm going to turn off this one, drop it vertically, 12 inches. So I know there is a extension that will let you copy or duplicate things multiple times like this. So there's, I'm trying to remember, actually, Dave, you probably remember exactly what it is. But it's one that's used like, I think that's too steep. Get back up there, guys. All right, let's try that again. I'm going to drop it down 6 inches. There we go. 6 inches. So that's going to be better. Whoops. And like I said, I do want to do this. I want 2 revolutions, but I'll only have to do this once because I can grab the whole array and shift it down. Fortunately, SketchUp makes it real easy to do this because it remembers how far you shifted last time. So every time I do this, I just have to hit the up arrow to constrain, slide my mouse just a touch.
Uh-oh.
And then, unless I inference to something far in some weird, crazy spot, it should be just as should be that simple. All right, one more time. Oh no, that's it. And then I can't, no. Uh-oh. There we go. All right, so I got to get rid of these lines because they're making things difficult to see. Cool.
It's looking good so far.
So now I can take all of that I can move that from the end of this one straight to vertical, find the middle of this one right here, and then I actually want to drop it down another 6 inches again because there's our air screw.
Looking good.
All right, so
now we just need some canvas or something.
yeah, it's definitely not going to move. It's not going to move a whole lot of air as it is now.
But it is cool, and that's the important part.
Yeah, really? I mean, we're talking about design here, right? What does functionality have to do with design? Ooh. Okay, so that's cool. I'm just remembering how I just went in and deleted all those lines, and I'm now thinking, man, I really wish I had those lines. or I wish I had made each of these ribs a no, I only have to do it once. Okay. I'll think later. I can't think right now. I gotta just do stuff. All right, so I'll take this one. I'm trying to think how best to do this because, okay, so my first one's gonna be my shortest. So I'm gonna bring this back a %. No, I really wanna, So if I push this back 2 feet. And I'll try 6 inches since that's what worked for me before. No, that's not gonna be enough. So I'll push this next one back 20 inches. And this one I'll push back 16 inches. So I'm letting each one come out 4 inches at a time. This next one, then I'll go 12. This next one, 8. This next one, 4. All right, so that gives me shorter to, oh crap, I lost. I don't know which one I was on now.
Uh-oh, that is a problem.
Okay, pay attention, I'm gonna hit undo. Okay, this is the one I was on. So this one is full length. This next one, oh.
That could have been a disaster.
4, but I had to delete the model and start all over. All right,
Oh,
this
that would have
one's
been
gonna
awful.
be 8.
Oh, we got it. We got our first chat telling us to save.
Ugh.
It took a while,
Yeah.
but we got there in the end, and that's the important part.
Oh, shoot. What did I just... Oh, man. What did I just offset? Okay. Oh. I'm terrible. I don't remember. Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing either
I think
most
this is
of the
12.
time, so don't worry.
Was anybody paying? Okay, I'm gonna start talking more. 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. Feels like this is getting really long. 36, 40, 44, 48. Oh, come here. 52. 56. 60 and 64. Okay,
Not bad.
so there's our air screw frame. Just gonna say, I'm that one. I didn't struggle with math today. What you guys couldn't see off camera was I was counting on my toes. Oh, math. Okay. Oh, the sad truth, you guys, is that caused me so much more mental strain than anybody can imagine. Okay, so what I'm thinking right now is I'm gonna make a shape right here. That I'm gonna wanna drape my fabric on. Whoop. Oh. So I kind of mentioned this last time, but 3D Connection has not come out with the updated driver yet. So I'm using the 2019 extension for my 3D mouse, and I do feel some jumpiness. I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna make that a group. I'm gonna go into that group and hide the rest. All right, so that is the shape that will be that one wing. So I could do this a couple different ways. I could just go like this and then erase that. And I could work my way down with that, which would, I mean, for all intents and purposes, that would give me what I want. Or I could come in here, I could grab this, I could save, because it's easy to do, and I could just do it. I don't necessarily have to be told to do it, I could just do it. And I could go to my extensions, is that where it is? No. Tools? No. Tool palettes, and turn on soap bubble.
Oh boy, here we go.
I could do this. Well, we'll see if this is what I want to do.
Save before you do that.
I did save. Yeah, I saved. All right, I'm going to skin this. Probably Probably a little bit finer, maybe not that fine.
Doing good. Looking
You know,
good.
I don't even have to put any pressure on it. That skin is probably ideal. So I could have also used Curve Loft, or I could use something else, but I figured, why not bring out a classic? This is my buddy Josh's favorite extension of all times. So
It's one of mine too.
it's a good one. It's definitely
really good.
Then I could come in here and I could soften that to get me one piece. Okay, so that's all what I could do. My question now is, do I do that 23 more times? Or is there a better way? Lawrence wants to know what 9 times 7 is, and it's obviously 63, of course. Simple. 9 timetables are the easy ones. As soon as you hit me with something like what's 8 times 7, then bad things happen. So what I'm kind of thinking I might be able to do is, based on exactly what just happened there, I think I could do this as 2 pieces. I don't think I can do the full spiral. Because of the way that soap, skin, and bubble works. Okay, Dave Richards saying that Curve Loft will do the whole thing in one go. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna get rid of this right here. And I am gonna spin down here and create 2 spirals on either inside and outside. And everything's gonna be perfect according to Dave. Words in your mouth?
It's going to be exciting.
Oh yeah, what could possibly go wrong? So what I'm doing now is I'm just spiraling down here and picking the top point, so the point where the dowel combines with the shaft, where it goes in, and just picking that point, and I'm just drawing one line all the way down. So this will in the end leave me with a single line that spirals all the way down the shaft. My fate is in your hands, Dave. So hopefully you tested this while I was rambling, and we know for sure. Soap skin bubble is awesome, but I was starting to say that it does create a single horizontal surface that it then drapes over your selected geometry. So you can't take a soap skin and bubble and create a mesh that goes under or over itself like that. All right, from that point, I'm going to go straight out here to the end of this one. And now bring that line back up to the ends of each of these.
Dave wants to remind you to weld those spirals before you run Curve Loft, though.
You got it. Whoops. Whoops. So I actually had this question come up on an older video that we have up on our YouTube channel. Somebody was asking about Orbit. They were struggling with Orbit.
Yeah.
And Orbit's great, zooming's great. The fact that you can do it all with this, I know I use a 3D mouse, but the fact that you do it all with that middle button on your mouse is just so cool. It, in my opinion, really puts the usability of SketchUp above some other 3D packages. It is just super easy. But what you do have to remember is it zooms in and out of the pixel that your mouse is actually on. So like here, when I was having some weird erratic zooming, that's because I was zooming on a floating pixel somewhere in the background and not the geometry I was trying to zoom in on. Should have thrown that out because that just came up and then I had an issue with it. And actually, zooming in on little tiny geometry does get, in some cases, actually easier with your mouse than it is with a 3D mouse. So, because you can do that, you can pick which geometry you want to zoom in on and just scroll in. I was hoping to ramble for long enough to have this spiral done, but it looks like I fell a little bit short. So, speaking of this spiral and different ways to do it, one of the things I could have done is just created the spiral geometry first and then built ribs based off of that geometry. So I could have worked backwards into this spiral.
Fair enough.
I didn't, so...
Yeah. This is exciting, though.
One could.
This is either going to, after we weld it, it's going to work or it won't.
All right, so get rid of our hidden geometry, get rid of everything else.
Don't forget to weld.
Woo! So is that all one big, so just do this?
That's what it sounds like.
You know, Eric just mentioned, Eric on YouTube asked if the outer edge of the spiral is golden ratio related, and I don't know. I was actually, that was something
That's a good question.
I was thinking about because Da Vinci, I mean, the man was all about proportions and ratios, and so I'm guessing, yes, I would guess that that was a proper Nautilus type curve if you looked at it from above. I kind of chose some numbers and just went with them, but okay, weld inner, that's, I was waiting on it, Dave. I was stalling waiting for your response. We're going to break apart the inner and the outer. So all right, so there we go. So now we have 4 pieces. Inner spiral, outer spiral. And I shouldn't even need those end lines. I think I can just grab those, go to Curve Loft, skin that. I want to show you guys my desktop real quick.
Oh, that's a cool desktop.
Yeah.
What's it of?
That's a model I made when I first started SketchUp.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, speaking of SketchUp, let's hop in there and work on this model.
That's a great idea.
Cool. Boom.
That's always a good sign. It means it knows something went wrong.
So that didn't go ideally. Curve Loft didn't like something about something I just told it to do. All right. So I have these two. So like I said, I think I can just, or did you need that? Well, here, let's, we know how it went last time. Let's grab these two, let's grab all the pieces. Yeah, I noticed. But this is what extensions are all about, right?
Hey, it kind of did something.
It's close.
It's very close.
There we go.
There we go. That's good.
Nice. Hey, I'm good with that. Let's
Oh, it's not bad at all. That looks so cool.
that could totally fly. Maybe.
In theory. It definitely could maybe fly.
It could do something. Okay, cool.
It's definitely cool, though. I'm very much a fan.
I'm going to leave this as being paper thin and just color it on both sides. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to grab all of that because actually first, I'm going to grab all that. I'm going to cut it, come in context, and paste in place. I'm going to, just for the sake of consistency, oh, Mark said save.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a great plan. All right, I'm going to temporarily hide that, And like I said, just for the sake of consistency, because I did this on all the other pieces, I'm going to use my solid tools to just quickly punch holes here for these ribs, or I don't know, I guess that's what I'd call them, so that everything kind of matches up the way it did before. Bosma's asking what he missed. Absolutely nothing. Everything went perfectly. You missed just boring perfection and nothing went wrong. Thank you for asking. I had an issue with an extension. I just can't lie. You know, I was talking to somebody several years ago. I took some art history classes in college, and
Yeah.
I really think there was a cool period. Well, throughout history, it wasn't just a period. There was just a lot of time where artists like Da Vinci were employed by royalty or landowners or whatever just to make art. And I was just talking to him, I was going, man, that's so cool. It's a thing that really doesn't happen anymore, not to the level it did before. And we still have,
Very true.
like the town I work in does, art in public places, and they commission local artists to do art here and there. But I felt like it wasn't the same, because people were literally artists, and that's what they did for a living. And they made art, and they got paid, and they got to stay, like they were given a chalet or something to live in and just make art. And I just thought that was so cool. And I was kind of feeling like that's something that was lost. And I kind of feel like that's something that's coming back with sites like Patreon or GoFundMe, or
Yeah,
people
you're
actually
right.
have the ability to say, fund me in my creativity so we don't lose art,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is really cool. Man, speaking of really cool, this is coming along. I'm gonna challenge a concept though. So as we talked about, this would probably be made of wood and canvas,
Mm-hmm.
and this right here is a tree. I mean, this shaft right here. This is a big chunk of wood, which
Mm-hmm.
is probably valid. It's got a lot of force, has a lot of stuff that has to connect to it. So I kind of get why it would be that way. But man, I'm just thinking of how much lift has to be created to pull a 30-foot, foot and a half wide tree trunk off the ground.
That would be significant.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the math because I don't want to, embarrass any smart intellectual types out there on how that math works. But I'm thinking it's a lot of upward thrust, and I don't even know if canvas and these ribs have the ability to support that much. I don't know. And this is something that doesn't scale either, right? Like, air doesn't scale. Air pressure doesn't scale, so you can make a miniature of something like this, spin around, and it'll fly up in the air. But I feel like at full size, I just don't know. No, I don't want to question the genius of Da Vinci or anything like that. I'm just skeptical. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so we're getting close. We're getting through this thing. Right now, the issues that I see is, yeah, so we're set up right now for someone to grab this thing right here, right, and then run around inside there, make it spin really super fast, and then it would all go up in the air. So, like I said, the issues that I see is there's nowhere to actually move that. So if you were to grab, these handles are actually on here. You can see that right here. I didn't make that part up. But I feel like we have to bring this platform in so that would actually be possible. So I'm going to come in here, grab this, scale that to smaller. I think I just mess with my, just make a convex shape. 'Cause this does, I don't think this is the same. Yeah. Scoot that up here. Whoop. Drop that vertically so it's, when I scaled it uniformly about all axes, so I ended up making my disc, which would be bad because if you're up flying and you like drop your car keys, they would just roll down that ramp and then fall right through the bottom. So safety first. All right, we're getting there. Would it not be made in sections like a barrel? Yeah, yeah, I'm sure this would not be one enormous piece. This would probably be lots of pieces. Most likely, I would think that you would build it kind of like plywood, where maybe you'd run pieces this way and then run pieces the opposite way underneath. I think if you made like going out from the, I guess it could be, you could make it like a big wheel. So if you had this as one piece, you could have boards coming out, boards that tapered. So yeah, this would actually be built as other pieces. I don't know if that was your question. That's where my brain went when you asked these questions. All right, so the last piece, so I think this, I genuinely, here, come here, Laura. We gotta do some testing.
It's not bad.
I think she could do it. Maybe a little bit smaller. I mean, there's no reason not to. All right. That's a lot. Look at that. That's a lot of space right there. Oh, the center pole. I get what you're saying. Yeah, this wouldn't have to be a solid piece. That's true. This whole thing could be made of pieces. That is a great point. That would definitely.
That is a good point.
That would definitely make it less heavy. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll go break that down into slats of wood, and then we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just don't know. Okay, so I'm still hung up on this. Hung up because there's a gravity thing here.
Oh,
so
funny.
again, upward force on this piece is going to pick up this whole bottom piece by this contraption we put together right here, right? So that's going to pull up this. That's going to have this thing just kind of dangling, and I think that any wobble is going to cause problems because it's going to cause that lower piece to shift away from on axes, which will cause either this to bind or this to hit here. So I really think that something does have to run under here so that those two pieces can go together. And I know I said this was before traditional metal bearings.
True.
But you can carve a ball out of wood, right?
Well, yeah, it's not going to be as smooth as something machined, but you can carve something.
Sorry, one could. So, what if we make this bottom piece into a big old bearing? What if we actually come in here and what if we put a groove here, put a series of balls in there, and call that a big bearing?
I'm down for that.
What's the worst that could happen? There's really nothing bad. There's really no way anything can go wrong here, right?
Yeah, there was someone who
I kind of said that before I used Curve Loft too.
Yeah, there was someone I was watching on YouTube, and they said there's nothing you can type on your computer that will ruin the hardware. The worst thing that can happen if you're using a computer is data loss.
There you go. So
I say
Casey's
go
behind this
for
plan.
it.
All right, so I need to figure out, so how far do I actually have between these? So it's just over 3 inches, and then how tall are these? Wow, arbitrary as anything. So let's say I wanted to make some 6-inch balls. So
They say if we ever build this, Chad is telling us to make sure to use a hardwood when we're carving them.
that makes sense.
They are recommending oak at the moment.
Ooh. Okay.
Which makes total sense.
Sure. All right, so I'm going to do something similar to what I did before. Carve a groove. I'm going to push that groove down.
Looks good.
About 3 inches.
Because
What I actually need is a ball. So I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to make give me a lot of these balls, so I'm going to drop my fidelity just a bit. So I'm going to make it 12. And I'm going to come up here. So they're a 6-inch ball, so yeah, 3-inch radius. I'll grab this one. Follow me. There we go. Make that into a component. I'll call it a ball.
Fair enough.
Makes sense. All right, so now I'm going to grab that by the bottom point. I'm going to turn on, actually, first thing I'm going to do is I want to figure out where I want to line that up right here. Turn on X-ray, grab it by that bottom point, stick that right there. All right, so my groove isn't quite big enough, but there we go, something like that. Now, here's the real question. What are the odds? So if I was to bring that to right there, 4.3 degrees. Is 360 degrees divisible by 4.3? I don't think so. But if I go to 5 degrees times 60.
So close. Closer. Very close.
Oh, 72 times. Duh. Okay.
There we go.
There is all of our balls. And then got to put a groove in the top. All right. So what I want to do, oh, whoops. I didn't want that. So I'm going to select all those. I'm going to make all of those into one group. And I'm going to cut that and come out of context, out of context, out of context, and paste in place. Right, so there we go. Now we got those in there. Now what I got to do is I got to get that same groove on the piece above. So what I'm going to do is, whoops, come in here and grab this ring, whoops, this ring, and that surface. Control C to copy. I come out. I'm going to come in context here. Nope, I'm going to go paste in place. I'll grab this piece, shift that vertically up to there. Grab these two rings, move them vertically up there. And now this is going to get awkward. Because I have to create that similar groove, but without everything else hidden. Oh, hey, yeah, let's do it from inside. Push this up like that, and then I can actually take this whole thingy, drop it vertically. There we go. Big old bearing. It works. All right, so we'll try spinning again. Nope, just I don't want to. Yeah, I just want to spin this piece. Let's see if the ball bearings work. Ooh. Oh, I'm spinning the wrong way. There we go. Upward thrust.
I like it.
In theory, that all works. And it could even land, because this could sit on the ground. Oops. I did something wrong. Oh, I thought I had this all grouped together. I didn't. Oh, no. Oh, I can just lengthen this. All right, we're good. So I take this piece. Almost panicked for a second there.
Crisis averted.
Everything's cool. All right. Yeah. All right, cool. And because I believe that's still a component, it should have done all 4 sides. Yes. Okay.
Hooray.
Cool. So yeah, I like that. Lawrence just pointed out on YouTube that Da Vinci left the actual practicalities to engineers. That's right. You can't be a visionary and the guy who makes stuff necessarily. Well, I guess you can, but it's okay. I should say it's okay to just be the visionary, just the guy with the cool idea. All right, so yeah, that would work. That would totally kind of maybe possibly work a little bit. Except I'm skeptical that the whole thing would even work. Yeah, you'd have to definitely do some things to try to keep it light. I'm not sure OSHA would be crazy about this being more than 4 feet off the ground. Maybe it can put a handrail on here or something. Maybe a clip onto something, like maybe a little carabiner that attaches to a belt to your handle. Which that's one of those things that makes me really wonder. Like, if somebody had gone and built this, who would have been testing it? Because, I don't know. I don't think Leonardo da Vinci was ever a real young guy. He seems to have always had a beard and been white-haired. At least all the pictures I've seen of him. So it does make you wonder, like, in the Middle Ages, if this had been built, who would have been testing it? Unfortunately, whoever did it probably didn't work out very well for it. But you guys remember that movie? And I'm going to date myself, and I'm going to talk about crappy movies for a second. But remember the movie Hudson Hawk, Bruce Willis comedy from like late 80s, maybe? Probably not. I don't think he was a huge fan of that movie. But Da Vinci was actually in it. He was a plot point. But they had a spot in the beginning where they kind of implied that maybe it was a slave or something was loaded onto the flying machine and shoved off a cliff.
Ooh, that would be awful.
That would be not good, yeah. But it does make you think, like the Wright brothers, right? When they went out there, they made a machine to fly, and they actually got it themselves. And granted, the spot they were at was kind of, I don't know how, it didn't go very high off the ground, right? But still, it's crazy.
It did fly, though, and that counts for something.
Yeah. Flying and submarining. 2 things that I just can't. I'm just okay with my feet on the ground, I guess. I'm okay. I'm okay being okay with that.
Yeah. Speaking of flying and inventions, did you ever hear about what happened to the guy who invented the parachute coat? It was supposed to be a coat that would unfold into a parachute.
I'm assuming things didn't go well for his invention?
Well, he decided to test it himself, and there's a reason you've never heard of it.
Oh. So that answered my question.
No, it did not go well.
It didn't go well.
It involved a big demonstration at the Eiffel Tower.
Ooh, that I can't see that. That's probably wasn't legal, right?
Oh yeah, totally illegal.
Huh. One-time use. I'm sorry. That's.
In all fairness, a parachute does only have to work once.
Well, at least once.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the minimum.
It can't work less than once.
Yeah, if it works, if you need it to work, it had better work. But it only needs to do its job that one time.
So, we have a question on the design. Mark Stewart's asking, wouldn't those balls get hot as it spun around? Well,
In theory,
it should be minimal friction, right? Because they should be rolling. There's still going to be pressure on them, but they should be rolling, so it shouldn't heat up too much. But yeah, they are made of flammable material, and they would probably be greased with something that would sooner or later melt or catch fire. So,
yes.
yeah. Sorry, Laura.
Yeah, this is another invention that only has to work the one time. It's a proof of concept. It's a prototype.
Yep. Dave's calling for beef tallow again. All right, so I'm going to take Laura and explode her and make her a group. And put her right there, because that's the direction she's got to push. And I will take her, and I will rotate her 90 degrees, 3x. All right, there we go. So for our proof of concept, oh, and then you all have to get cut and placed in context over here.
Oh, that's morbid. Apparently there's a video of the guy testing the parachute float.
Let's not play that.
It's on YouTube, apparently. How
Oh.
that's stayed up with YouTube guidelines, I don't know, but that's one I do not need to watch.
I'm good with just the story on that one. I actually probably could go with that story. All right.
Yeah.
So there we go. That is our proof of concept. Sebastian's engineer told him this won't work. Oh, wait. Jumping off 190 feet with a parachute won't work? Or
the parachute
our
coat.
air screw?
Maybe both.
Well, there's physics behind a parachute too, right? There's a certain amount of air.
Yeah, I think it's like 10 stories you need before it to fully open and slow you down sufficiently. I don't know. I've never been parachuting. I have a friend who has, though.
Yeah, that's not on my list of things to do.
No, have been scuba diving, though, and that's amazing.
That is fun.
Granted, I didn't go down any deeper than about 32 feet, but it was still cool.
Yeah. All right, well. Okay, so Guylines. That was the other thing that's on here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, which I get because these long shouldn't she be stationary? Well, yeah, I think, well, no, because if she's driving the shaft that spins it, she's going to have to run in circles real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's going to spin is this piece is going to go around, and she's going to have to do that. So she'll be moving on the platform. The platform will be immobile. Well, actually, this is one of my whole problems why I'm having such a hard time because I'm like, what's to stop this platform from just spinning underneath and this air screw just being still? Actually, there's probably a reason that it never got made. There's probably lots of reasons why it never got made. All right, so if I do come in here, though, I should, in theory, be able to get these guylines on here. So I'll say every third one, I'll just tie back down. Because that's, I mean, for a stick of wood, that's going to be a lot of pressure, right, on there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And these, in theory, could just tie right back out to here. So yeah, I'm basically a inventor from the Dark Ages? I don't know.
At this point, I'd say you're practically a helicopter mechanic.
Medieval helicopter.
Yes, medieval helicopter mechanic. Ah. Apparently
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, Discovery Channel apparently made a show where they actually tried to build these.
All the weight would be on the lower hub, so it can't turn. Yeah, I mean, it would all be pushing against it.
This is complicated.
Yeah, so this is when math and stuff happens, but you know what? It
looks like the picture.
That's right.
We
designed something that, on some level, looks like it could have been that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there was probably some math he had in theory about how all this work would work. Yeah, so that is one thing that I caught on to. Somebody's pointing out that when it lands, this would be sitting on the ground. So as soon as you started trying to spin, what you'd actually be doing is standing in place, holding the bar, and kicking this around. So actually, when it's landed, you're just looking at a medieval treadmill, because this would just spin around, right? So what you would actually need, what we'd have to have on here, is landing gear that comes off of this piece and sits on the ground. So I'm going to build something real quick.
Yeah, what you making?
Some landing gear. Let's see how this would work.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
This will be exciting.
I don't know. Don't get too excited. This might be a letdown.
In all fairness, my definition of exciting involves watching someone do SketchUp, so...
That's true. You are in for a treat, my friend.
Oh boy.
Okay, so if I did something like this, I'm assuming I have to have some material here to get a little girth there, but maybe we can be semi-elegant. We'll do a little bit of shaping. Ooh, elegance. It's not working. Oh, here we go. Push this out like that. I want to give the lower ring some clearance. Uh-oh, I got something hidden.
Uh-oh. Ah, there it is. That was an easy fix.
Yeah, easy's good. So it'll come out like that. And
I think we're getting somewhere.
somewhere. I don't know where we are, but there you
I
go.
like it, though.
All right. So if we had something like that, right? So we had something like that on, let's take that and rotate that. Put 4 of those on there too. So now that would give clearance to the lower ring. Yeah, you're right. We need to we should probably, here. Yeah, What's wrong with expecting the pilots to be perfect exactly? Let's drop that down. Give us a little more. There we go. How's that?
That looks good.
Let's see how high this is. That's 1 foot, so we'll actually need a collapsing stair of some sort, so OSHA is okay with that, but that's the idea. So that...
that's an interesting idea. We could mount some rockets on those. Really get it up there.
Perfect. Rocket assist takeoff. That works. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say, again, those legs need some big feet now. All right. I'm going to, well, I'm not going to do any more things. Yeah, so that could, in theory, produce some amount of upward thrust that could, oh no, that's going to cause issues with our guylines for sure. This is why we model in SketchUp, you guys. Watch that. That's not going to work.
Oh boy. Well, maybe this is why it stayed as a concept.
Yeah, this is the reason. All right, so if we tie them together like that, that should still help with stability, right?
Somewhat.
Something, somewhere, maybe, I don't know. The other thing we do is we could also tie this back up here. So one could say that there was support this way with a wire of some sort, maybe, also. I don't know.
Maybe. It's not a bad idea.
Doesn't feel like a good idea.
Uh-oh.
No. And I drew everything out of context. Oh. Da Vinci's rolling over in his grave. All right, so we could have wires, something like that, which would at least solidify the top and bottom section to each other, which would give us a little bit of rigidity. But, yeah. But now we're talking science, and I don't know.
Just sort of speaking of Da Vinci, did you ever see that episode of Futurama that was about him?
I did not.
Apparently, according to the episode, he was an alien who didn't understand how to use rendering software, so he went to a planet where he could be a genius. I thought the premise was hilarious. It just shows you need to find your element, find the place where you fit in and can be a genius.
Yeah, Lawrence put it right. Concepts are for genius types. Building something that works is for engineers.
Very well said.
I like that.
I like that too.
Cool. Well, there we go. That's my. There's too many lines here. This looks like a. I don't know. I don't care for it. So now I'm going for purely aesthetic design and getting rid of some lines because it doesn't look as nice.
It looks cool though. I think it's nice.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak too much more about the functionality, but in theory, the physics of how the pieces interact should work. That's where I'll put my name on that part, where if this were built in one section here, with ball bearings here and wheels that could spin here, this piece would spin against this piece. Oh, but the problem is as soon as it lands, this whole middle piece is just going to fall straight through like this.
Oh no.
There's nothing to keep it together. And then the balls are going to go everywhere.
Oh, that'll be a mess.
What are you doing, Leonardo? Come on, man. Okay, so just when you think you're done, this is what design's all. This is iterative design at its finest, right here. So, well, yeah. I don't know. So I guess something could happen like you could actually take this whole array, copy it up here like this. Flip it over like that.
Things are getting interesting now.
Yeah. Rotate that 90 degrees again. Get my offsetting axis. Oops, didn't have it all selected. There we go. If I take that, rotate that 90 degrees. Oops, I hit Option. That's why. Dang it. Making copies instead of just rotating. Just keep it simple, man. All right. Third try is a charm. There we go. Looks good up there. 90 degrees, and then we'll take that and move that up the shaft a little bit. All right, I'm going to come into this piece right here. Let's see, I'm going to create a line here that is the height of the whole thing, because then I know this groove works with the wheels, so I can take that and I can actually make a copy. Whoops, I did that on the wrong axes. Right. Grab those. Find the midpoint of that line I just copied. Then I can Option copy that ring into the top. Should be able to delete that. There we go.
Beautifully
and
done.
Now I can come back over here, grab all of this, grab by the bottom, drop it vertically so it goes in. Hey, it's got clearance. Look at that.
Not
Engineering
bad.
success. All right, so in theory, oh man, there's so much theory here. That could, I don't know.
It'll do something if you build this.
It depends on the weight of everything, and I don't know. Yeah, I kind of think oh, that's a good point. I really could get away with, because I have this situation here, I really don't even need this situation at all anymore, do I?
I think it looks neat, though.
It does
That's
look
just
neat.
me, but
Want to cover it in brass and dark stained wood and make it all steampunky looking with all those gears there for maybe no reason?
yeah.
Yeah, because so theoretically, right, I could grab all of this, get rid of it, come in here, grab these holes, move them up. Up there, because that would trap it between this and that would spin. Maybe that works. I don't know, at this point we've stopped using SketchUp and now we're just theorizing about Da Vinci's model, but the cool thing that we saw, if only Da Vinci had SketchUp, Look how many problems we caught just goofing around with that design. That was kind of cool.
That was a lot of fun.
And honestly, you guys, at this point, I thought that was going to take a little longer to put that all together, but that actually worked pretty well. That didn't take as long as I thought.
No, that was pretty quick.
All right, well, I guess at this point I could throw this out to you guys. We got last time, so 2 weeks ago, I asked you guys for ideas, and you had some awesome ideas, and we actually filled out about a month and a half of live model ideas.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I think we're going to come back with like maybe the Tower Bridge next week.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, we just have a bunch of cool ideas, so thank you so much for your ideas. That was very, very, very cool. But if you have other questions, comments, like I said, we kind of flew through this, so if you have questions or comments, now's a great time to throw those out. Or if you have other ideas that you think would make good live models. I thought this was going to take longer, but I don't think so. The legs shouldn't mess with the rotation because they hang over from the top. So
Dave has a question. Does the fact that we said we've got a few months worth of live models mean we've recorded them already? And the answer to that is a resounding no. They're called live.
I'm assuming you're joking, Dave. MJ, so you got, I saw that, and this was a couple days ago, or maybe it's yesterday, I don't know, recently, but they did 3D connection. MJ was just saying that they pulled in the latest 3D mouse driver, and it works great. I believe that is Windows only, though, correct? Because if you've caught that, well, you can't tell because it's all stickery, but this is a Mac, so I actually think that was just, I think that's just Windows. Let me know if that's right. Yes, I will tell you what, I will get this and my Lego, our minifig tribute, both of them saved and up into 3D Warehouse as soon as we turn the cameras off, and you guys can animate this however you like. And I don't know if you could actually, you can make it spin at the very least. We'll see what happens then. Yeah, so it was just Windows. Hopefully, generally speaking, what I've seen with 3D Connection is they release the Windows version first, and then usually within a week or two, the Mac version comes out as well. So hopefully that's the case, and hopefully whatever it is they've changed. And like I said, most of it works pretty well. So I can rotate this around using just the 3D mouse. It does a good job, but there's every once in a while the speed seems to be off or something, where stuff will just start moving a little bit too quickly, or like it'll go from slow to fast or fast to, I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on. So I feel like there's a thing there. So yeah, maybe so. Charles Lang says he's stopped by. He's never seen before, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you very much. Hopefully you learned something as well. We do like to enjoy ourselves, but we like to try to sneak some knowledge in your brain when you're not looking. So I appreciate hearing that you enjoyed yourself, and like I said, I really hope that you also got some knowledge out of it. Oh,
that's a good question. Would it look nicer with profiles turned off?
Hey, I know how we can find out.
Let's do it. Ooh.
Ooh, yeah. That's pretty. Profiles are kind of a funny thing because it is part of the distinct look of SketchUp. Like, I mean, with those, more and more 3D modeling software is kind of emulating the SketchUp-y look for conceptual modeling, which is cool. But having that extra heavy line on the outside, it does give you that SketchUp-y look. Having said that, it is also more work for the computer to calculate that. So it actually does slow down your performance just a little bit if you have profiles on. So it's one of the things you want to look at if you have a big model and it's really bogging down. Try flipping profiles off. Personally, I like to model without profiles as well. I think it looks a little bit cleaner, but it is definitely part of the SketchUp-y look is having those profiles on there. So, but you're right, because what I get rid of there is those, because the way this, my tarp here, or my canvas is triangulated, I was getting a little bit of a hard line there. So that does look a little bit cleaner with that turned off. So, yeah, so I think that you guys, I think we've wrapped it. We basically, we did Leonardo's work in like an hour and a half. No big deal. But yeah, we even had a time for a Lego tribute in there. So, yeah, I know, and Nathaniel's saying that a lot of people like that look of the profiles. I personally, I respect either way. People have said that they have reasons for liking or disliking. Your call. It's your installation of SketchUp. You do whatever you want. I don't care. But yeah. So thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you for coming back. Appreciate you rolling with my travel schedule. And I'm sorry I missed you guys last week. It's good to see you again. But we will be back here again next Friday. We will be modeling something. Like I said, I think it's a tower bridge, but keep an eye on social media, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, maybe sometimes LinkedIn. I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going on over there. We'll post what it is exactly that we're going to model later on in the week. So anyhow, the big thing, like I said, I appreciate you guys swinging by. Hope everybody has an awesome weekend, a wonderful week next week. If you do have some ideas for things we could model, I will leave the comments up and running for the next 5-10 minutes, something like that. So if you guys want to throw some thoughts out there, go ahead and do that. Thank you, Casey. Thanks for helping out.
Happy to be here.
Moderating and answering questions. And until next week, we'll see you guys later. So thank you.